What's up, everybody? Johnny Steeg here. Welcome back to another episode of Steeg Nation. Today, I got the Dodge Ram sitting out there. On my way home from work the other day, heard some squeaking, got an ABS light, and a brake light came on the dash. So after doing a little investigating, I found out that my wheel bearing's bad. It's on the passenger side front. So today we're going to be changing out the wheel bearing. It's honestly a pretty basic job. Shouldn't take too long, but figured I'd take you along with me and show you how I do it. So let's go. What's up, everybody? Johnny Steeg here. Welcome back to another episode of Steeg Nation. Today I got the Dodge Ram sitting out there. On my way home from work the other day, heard some squeaking, got an ABS light, and a brake light came on the dash. So after doing a little investigating, I found out that my wheel bearing's bad. It's on the passenger side front. So today we're going to be changing out the wheel bearing. It's honestly a pretty basic job. Shouldn't take too long, but figured I'd take you along with me and show you how I do it. So let's go. All right, first things first, we're gonna break free of all of our lugs here. All right, after you get all the lugs broke free, we're gonna grab the jack. We're gonna jack the truck up. All right, I got the truck jacked up. Now we're gonna finish pulling off all these lugs. Yep, definitely loose. All right, guys, next thing, you're gonna wanna pull your caliper off. So there's two bolts here. Pull this whole caliper bracket off. They're size 18. So, and this stuff gets hot up here, so there's a good chance that they're probably pretty rusted. So when you go to put it back together, I would just use some sort of a grease or an anti-seize. I already broke these free, so they should come apart here pretty easy. Okay, once you do that, you're gonna want to find something to hold this caliper up so you're not just dangling it off of the line. Pull that off of there. Okay, and we'll string this up. Find a good place to hang it from. That should do for now. All right. Also, now's a good time to check your brake pads and your rotor for wear. Looks like I'm probably due, so I'll get some of those on order too. All right, now that you've got that stuff taken out of there, get your tools out of the way, go ahead and pull your rotor off. Set that aside. All right, now that you've gotten your rotor off, there's a couple more things you got to do. You got to pull off the cotter pin here. We'll pull the castle nut off, and that is what's holding your axle into your bearing assembly. And then there's 4 bolts on the back side that you want to pull those out, and this should all come apart pretty easy. All right, so if you look closely on this assembly, you got your castle nut, and here on the bottom you got a cotter pin that runs through it. So we're gonna have to go in here, take that cotter pin off, pull the castle nut out. Okay, set that little sucker aside so you don't lose it. All right, guys, when you get your parts, it's a good idea to open up the box. Just double check that you got the right thing or what you expect to get. Okay. And I opted out to get a good brand here, a well-known brand. This is the Temkin version. They have the SKF versions as well, which as far as the bearing company goes, those are some of the best out there. Yeah, it looks good. That's what we wanted. It's got the sensor, the new sensor, all the wiring included. So yeah, this should just bolt right on there. One last thing I want to do is I want to grab one of the old lug nuts and make sure that the thread pitch is the same. These are direct OEM replacements, so they should work perfectly, and they do. So we're good to go. All right, so now let's get this nut off of here. And for those of you at home wondering what size that nut is, it's 1 11/16. Toss your nut aside so you don't lose it. Okay, now we're going to tackle these bolts on the back side, and luckily I believe those are also an 18, same as what it took to get your caliper off, and yes, they are. So for these, try and break them free with the breaker bar. If you turn your steering wheel, and get this thing to open up on the back side, we'll get these ones, and then we'll flip it around and we'll do the opposite for the ones in the front. So break them free with this, and I'll grab another tool to wind them back out all the way. Okay, love these things. Little electric, they don't have high torque, but they'll spin these guys right out of here. All right, toss all your bolts somewhere where you're gonna remember where they are. Ground works for me. All right, now I'm gonna turn the wheel so that I can get to the front. Okay, nice and simple. Now we've opened it up to where we can get to the fronts here. So here's the deal, I want my stub shaft to stay in, and I want this assembly to come out. I don't really want to pull the stub shaft out when I do this, so. Little shock load helps to get that moving back in. Pull it out a little bit, knock the stub shaft back in. Careful not to mar this up. Another helpful hint, we're gonna pull this whole wire assembly out of here. Just use an Allen key if you want to. This is probably the easier way to do it. Allen key. Just take the sensor out from the wheel hub assembly just to get it out of the way, and then we can disconnect the wire later when we put the new one in. Come on up here and take a look at this. If you can see that, there's a lot of metal shavings on the end of that, and that's what gave me that that signal for brake. Anyway, that was what's wrong with it, so let's get back to doing this here. Here you go, out with the old. That ain't good. You hear that? That sucker is locked up. And just give it a quick little cleanup. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna clean that out. I'm gonna give this a little wipe down here. Quick little brush just to get any loose rust, dirt, stuff out of the threads. And there are the splines here. And I'm going to give it just a very light, as light as I can, coating of copper coat here. This is an anti-seize. Just put a little bit of this on the threads just to allow everything to go nice and smooth back together and make it easy to take apart the next time if I ever have to do it again, or if somebody has to do it again, just make it easy for them. We got the new assembly here, so this is the one we're going to put back on. It's fresh, got a new sensor. So now when you put this on, don't forget to put your shield back on first. Usually goes that way. Put that on there, and then we'll slide this sucker on. So you can just put that down there for now, because we got to get this guy started. And you want the sensor wire to be coming out of the top when it's fully inserted. Just get the splines lined up, then you can lift this up. I'm actually going to run the wire through it. I got it all loose here. I'm just going to slide that assembly into place. Make sure everything lines up nicely. Okay, so now I've got the bolts cleaned up. Again, want to take off a lot of this excess. I don't want to be putting too much on here. Just a light brushing of the threads. This will make with any kind of removal or maintenance in the future a lot easier. So just like anything else you're going to work on ever, start all your bolts by hand. Make sure that there's no cross threading going on. You shouldn't have to force any of this stuff. So all should be going back together nice and smooth, just the way it came apart. This front one's a little harder to reach, so I'm just going to pull the socket off and use that to help spin the bolt in. Okay, get it sucked in there now. Just toss on the old ratchet and the rest of the way. Throw your washer back on there. And we're going to suck that up. For your cotter pin, drop that sucker back on in there. Put the long side out so I got something to grab. Bend it out. Now I just want to get this wire out of the way for the moment. So I'm going to tuck it back there. That way when we put the brake assembly back together, I got a area that I can run it and snap it back into that. I've got the caliper bolts. I'm going to clean these, put some anti-seize on these. snug these up. I'm sure there's torque specs for them, and I'm sure all you guys out there are gonna hassle me about not torquing them down to the right spec and this and that, but they're big bolts, just tighten them up. If you want to torque them, you can look up the torque specs, torque them yourself. All right. Okay, brake caliper's back on, rotor's on. All right guys, last but not least, your sensor wire. You want to make sure you come through on your brake line here and you snap that in all the way. Follow your brake line up to here, and then behind here is where you connect it into where the old wire was, and call her good. So this side is done, just got to throw the wheel back on. So now over here we're working on this one, just got the whole assembly apart and I'm about to throw it back together. But anyway, you only need to see the one side. Both sides are exactly the same, and soon enough here we're gonna have the old Dodge back on the road. All right guys, so she's all wrapped up, so thank you again for watching another episode of Steve Nation. If you like this video, subscribe, like it, follow the channel, and if you have any questions, comment below. We'll try and answer them best we can. Cheers.